video primarily goes over how to set up proper lighting in general using parts, however a couple of other things are also mentioned. There are three types of lights that can be chosen: spotlights, point lights, and surface lights. Spotlights emit a cone-shaped light from a single side of a surface. It can be used for small lights that are directional, such as street lamps, flashlights, etc. Point lights emit lights from a single point spherically. This type of light is useful for non-directional lights such as light bulbs, open flames, and more. And surface lights emit light using the entire surface of the side of a part. This differentiates from spotlights because of how it spreads. Instead of a cone-shaped light, it's the size of the entire surface used. It can be used for TV screens, ceiling lights, and more. Now into general ideas. These are for helping you gain a general understanding of how to properly light up certain things. You can get creative in how you use lighting for maps and models. Some models can use lighting to light up certain parts of a map, like streetlights in a city for example. Certain maps can just use lighting for itself, such as using one or multiple large lights for the entire map. Depending on what the model is, it will have to use different types of lights from other models. A street lamp would be using spotlights, while a billboard would be using a surface light. Maps may also have to use different types of lighting depending on how it's built. Dark, enclosed maps should obviously use less lighting than open sitting on a sunny morning. Animations will sometimes need proper lighting. This type of lighting will depend on what the animation is. However, all lighting shouldn't be too bright unless specified otherwise. Spotlights can be used to directly light a character from a scene or above. It can also be used as a light behind a camera. Point lights can be used for animations that are bright. It can be helpful for setting up a general light for a specific scene. This light can also be primarily used for tools that characters are holding, such as a muzzle flash on a gun. And surface lights can be mostly used for lighting behind the camera. This is helpful for visualizing characters or parts in a scene. However, they can also be used to light up a scene from above, just like spotlights. There are also types of lighting technology that you can find in the Explorer tab. These types are compatibility, which uses little detail and mostly only focuses on brightness and the distance of a light. Shadows are not present with this lighting. Future, which uses the most up-to-date lighting. This is the most realistic lighting out of all, but may lag games depending on the compatibility of the device used. Very detailed shadows are present with this lighting. Shadow map, which has some detailed lighting but doesn't have as many shadows as future lighting. It's practically a mix of future and compatibility. Slightly detailed shadows are present with this. And finally voxel, which is basically similar to shadow map except with less detailed shadows. More info about all of these is linked in the description. Tip time. Tip number 1. How to use each light properly. It would always depend on the type of model, map, or animation, but this will be a general idea of what to do. For models, they should use lighting depending on how it is directing with the part of the light. For example, a torch should be using a point light with low to moderate brightness and shadows enabled with a short distance, while a large electronic billboard should be using a surface light with shadows enabled with a moderate brightness and large distance. Models should also be properly lighting up an area. The lights should not excessively overlap, where really bright spots can be visible. The lighting should be visually appealing, where it isn't so bright to where it hurts the eyes, but not so low to where nothing is visible. The color should also appeal to the environment surrounding it, where it is a similar or warmer color of the parts around it. Maps can be lighted up with base lights or models included inside of the map. Base lights should cover an entire area that isn't too bright, while models inside maps should only be lighting up parts or sections of the map, unless if the used model is absurdly large. And for animations, lighting should be both appealing and consistent depending on the animation. If there are visible lights such as ceiling lights in the background, then it shouldn't be too bright or disorienting the color of characters. Lights behind the camera should be soft and barely noticeable, but should be slightly helpful in visualizing the characters or scenes. Tip number 2. How to use lighting for certain models. As mentioned earlier, certain models require certain types of lighting. I will now go over how each light can be used. Spotlights can be used for directional lighting and shouldn't be too bright. Since these are easier to overlap, the spread they reach shouldn't be too wide. They should also primarily be used pointing down or on a side, not up. Point lights can be used for setting up base lights for a whole area or open light sources. They can be used for making a general light for an entire area, such as a room with no shown lights, or for open sources of light that aren't specific on direction. An example would be, well, a light bulb. And surface lights can be used for large directional lighting for brightening an area. These lights should primarily be used for lighting up an area from above or on the side. Models using this should be fairly large depending on what it is. Tip number 3. What to do for lighting and animations. Since this one is about animations, it is very subjective. This tip is mainly applicable for surface and spotlights. Whenever you're animating, you may need to light up certain parts of a character, model, or something else. These lights should be soft and lightly to moderately visible, but the part directing the light shouldn't be visible to the camera, while still properly pointing at the directed target. For example, if you're lighting up a character that's in a dark environment but there are orange torches behind them, the invisible surface or spotlight should be pointing at the character with a barely visible orange tint. And finally, tip number 4. Use future lighting. Since future lighting uses the most up-to-date version of lighting, that means that it's also the most detailed out of all other types. It should be used the most, especially for detailed animations. Compared to other technologies, this one not only has the most detailed and realistic lighting, but it also shows a slightly better appearance to textures and colors for parts overall. Thanks for watching the video, I hope you learned something new. I may make a part 2 on this video where I go over more than just lights using parts. I'm also back from my Christmas break, which means I'll finally start uploading again. I'm thankful for all the people who liked and subscribed to my content while I was gone. You may also expect slightly higher quality for my videos since I got a new monitor. Oh, and sorry if I spoke a little fast. I'm sort of in a rush to make this video. That's about it, friends. As always, See you next video.